channel of networkings, okay, we concern most on the control of access towards the towards the access limitation and data transmissions, okay. So since we are auditing the information, right, we are auditing the financial statement, the information, the data that get through to the system, to the accounting system, to the business systems, okay. So we are very concerned with the access limitations, okay. In a normal in the what we call it a traditional business, okay, it's clear, it can be clearly seen the segregation of duties, okay. So this person doing this person doing that, okay. But in the IT environments, okay, we just access the computer or the system through password, so anyone can access to it. For example, to your bank accounts, okay, bank accounts or your credit cards, anyone can access to it if you give the password, or they manage to get the password from you, okay. So once so what's we concern most about access limitation, we afraid that the data is no longer accurate, okay. The data, there is a potential of fraud, there are potential of error, okay, or misuse of the system, and the transaction is no longer credible, okay. So that is what concern most by the auditor, okay, on the access limitation and data transmissions, okay. So once you transmit the data, we afraid that the data will be disturbed, okay, will either by natural disaster, for example, or by people or hackers that have an intentions, okay, towards the use of the data or misuse of the data, okay. So this is what we concern the most nowadays. We are transmit the data not just in the office, we can transmit it in throughout the world, okay, throughout the world. That is why in some big company, okay, in some big company, they don't allow you to bring a handphones, okay, if you are visiting their premises, okay, their building, they ask you to uh keep it at the counter, okay, because of the safety. Because once you are in the building, you snap, you take the photo here and there, and then within 1 second you can transfer the information, the data to throughout the world, okay. So we are concerned about distributed data processing, networking, and electronic data interchange in terms of access limitation and data transmissions, okay. And in nowadays, okay, we process the transaction real time systems, okay. No transaction file, immediately update the master files, okay. So this is the case, for example, Malaysia in the ticketing systems, okay. Malaysian most of the airline use that, the ticketing systems, okay. So you can before this, okay, they use it real time, but being managed or being handled by their staff or by their agent. But nowadays we can buy ourselves the ticket just now, right? And it can be bought from any part of the world, okay. So that is a real time system. So once the transaction happen, it will update the master file, no transaction files, okay. Because master file will be accessed by uh, all of the users in the of the systems, okay. So in the case of you are getting the ticket from Asia, of Mars, or any airlines, okay, you are actually access to the system, and then the system will automatically update the or immediately update the master files, okay. So that is the things that affects the auditing. no transaction file. Immediately update the master files. Okay. So similarly, when you went to you buy the things from online, okay, buy things from online, okay, banking for example, okay, so it will update your balance immediately, okay, it will update your balance immediately, okay. Intelligent systems. Okay, so these are the things that happen nowadays. Okay, auditor concerned with the integrity of the knowledge captured in the system and how the system make a decision. Many companies use intelligent systems. Okay, for the big company, they are not using the, for example, accounting software that we can bought from the market. Okay, they use their own database with the help of intelligent systems. Okay, for example, we use what, just in times inventory management. So that is that in that kind of things, okay, or the system we use intelligent system. So auditor concerned with the integrity of the knowledge captured in the system and how the system make decisions. Okay, intelligent system, how do you build it? How do you build it? Why the auditor concerned with the integrity of the knowledge capture? How do we build the uh, intelligent system? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, when we want to build an intelligent system, actually we use the what's the brains, the knowledge of uh expert or intelligent persons, okay, and then we capture that information into the systems, okay. So that is why we concern with the knowledge capture in the system, how the system make decision. Okay, if this thing happen, what will be done? If this thing happen, what be done? So, okay, because in the real world, okay, everything change, okay, and sometimes we can't predict the changes of the things, okay. It's not like I still remember when you run the regression, you considered others as ceteris paribus, okay, means that others are constants, okay, others are constant, but in the real world, no one is constant, okay, not one of the thing is constant, everything will be changed in a minute, in a second, okay. So that is what we concern about intelligent system, okay. End user computing, weak control at user departments, okay. So this weak control at user department will affect the auditings, okay. So because if weak control, we afraid that there is a error transaction of fraud transaction that will pass through the system, okay, from the user department to the system, okay, to the whole system, and we process it, we get uh what's a rubbish input, we process a rubbish input, and at the end we process the output is a rubbish output, okay. Any question up to now? Hello? Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll proceed with the next slide then. Okay, oh, one more. Okay, electronic internet commerce concern on transaction integrity, protection of information, and unauthorized access. Okay. Uh, uh, and nowadays, okay, we concern on the transaction integrities, protection of information, and unauthorized access. For example, there are many of FB being sued, right, because of the uh, the information being leaked to the being leaked to the some unauthorized parties, okay, being leaked to some unauthorized parties, and then some of the information being captured by the system, and then being immorally used. Okay, for example, bank they capture all of our information. Okay, they have the data about us, about our profile, about our salary, our our salary, our age and everything. Okay, and then our style of spending, for example, and then they share it with other parties. Okay, so that is what we concern. Okay, okay, and then when we deal with a system, there is a complexity of IT systems. Okay, it could be low complexity, it could be medium complexity, and could be advanced systems. Okay, for the small business, maybe just a very low complexity, a stand-alone microcomputer. Okay, they use a board accounting software, okay, to maintain their accounting system or operational systems. Okay, a stand-alone microcomputer, no connection to any parties, for example. Okay, used for maintaining journal and subsidies ledgers, and then can be purchased from vendor. Okay, so this is low complexity and easy for us to audit it. Okay, and then we have medium complexity, mini computer, server and microcomputer. Okay, purchased from vendor but more advanced than low. Okay, so this is a medium or the medium level of complexity, where use several mini computers. Maybe the company have a branch. Okay, the company have a branch. Okay, they have a mini computer, server and micro computer. Okay, micro is smaller than mini computer. Okay, and then purchase from vendor but more advanced than low. Contoh, for example, have you heard about Hanan Spa, for example? Okay, so this is their system is the business is a medium, not very big, but a medium business. So they can use a medium complex of IT. Okay, and the software can be bought from the vendor, but it's more advanced from the low just now. Okay, so you learn accounting information system, you know which one can be used, the accounting information system software just now, which one can be used for low complexity, which one can be used for the medium complexity, and which one can be used for the advanced systems. Okay, so this advanced system depend on IT for handling information processing needs. Okay, for example, banking. Okay, banking, they heavily rely on the information in processing the request. For example, your request. Okay, your request to pay to Lazada, to pay to Shopee, or to draw the money. Okay, so they heavily depend on IT. Okay, and this complex system may use mainframe, telecommunication, extensive database system, or online real-time processing, and electronic data interchange and others. Okay, this could be Lazada, could be Shopee, and something that uh, big, okay, being used by the big company. Okay, and normally for this one, they are not purchase the software from the vendor. They get the database and bring the expert to build the system, for the use of the company. For example, we have this complexity of IT system at the advanced level. okay, where we are not buying it from anywhere, okay, or maybe we buy it from somewhere for the mainframe, for the basic, but later on we change it, or we add some, or we make an improvement to suit with our usage in UUM. Okay, so that is the complexity of IT system. 3 level: low complexity, medium complexity, and advanced system. Okay, and then there are control in IT environments. There are 2 types of control in IT environment. One is general control. So, okay, what is general control? It relates to all parts of the computer information system and must therefore be evaluated early in the audit. Okay, so this is general control. Okay, general. Okay, relate to all parts of the computer information system and must therefore be evaluated early in the audit. Okay, and to establish a framework of overall control over the CIS activities, computer information system activities, and to provide a reasonable level of assurance that the overall objective of internal control are achieved. Okay. Okay, for example, supervisory management. Okay, for example, what is general control? General control, for example, whether the building uh, where we keep all the computers being being guarded, okay, by anyone from physically access to it, for example. That is a general control. Okay, and then supervisory management. Okay, how the is there a clear control being done by the company, okay, for the supervisory and management of the internal control system just now. Okay. And then we have application control. Okay. Apply to the processing of specific computer application and part of the computer program used in the accounting system. So what is application control? For example, access control. What else? Input control. Okay, input control, processing control, and then output control. Okay, so for input control, for example, when they use we want to ensure that all the data that being keyed in into the system is correct. Okay, so we apply some control towards it. Okay, so that is why when we go to supermarket, for example, they use a scanner, right? They use the code. That is why barcode is important, is very necessary. Okay, because it will not make a mistakes. Okay, so when you buy some things, okay, you can use the scanner to scan the barcode, and then that the input, or that is the data for the system to be processed later. Okay. uh Example, batch control, limit checks. Okay, limit check. Okay, if you go to uh uh Tesco nowadays, they have a scan and shop, right? Scan and shop. Okay, so you don't have to queue up for a long uh times, okay, to pay for the goods that you have been selected. Okay, you just scan the barcode and then bring it to the counter, the goods with the your the phone, and then the cashier will scan it from your phones. Okay, and then there is a 25 item that, for example, that you have already scanned, okay, based on the application scan and shop of Tesco. Okay, there are 25 items. So the cashier just now will check, okay, whether it's really 25 items, or okay, check for the less or more. That is a batch control example. Okay, very easy. Okay. Okay, look at the general control. Organizational control, designed to establish an organization framework over CRS activities. Okay, organizational control. Okay, designed to establish an organizational framework over CIS activities. Okay, for example, who can in the company we have organization frameworks. Okay, so this person can do this kind of task. This person can do this kind of task. Okay, for example. Okay, so that is organizational control, designed to establish an organizational framework over computer information system activities. And we have system development and modification control. System are developed and maintained in an authorized and efficient manner. Okay, so we have system, for example, the big company just now, they just bought the database. Okay, and then come up with their own systems. Okay, and then that is what we call as system development. And this system need and from time to time, although you buy it from or you get it from the vendor, you need to modify the systems. Okay, so we should have system development and modification control. System development, when they develop the system, there are certain control that they need to be aware of or to be in place. Okay, so okay, and then during the modifications, okay, when modify the system, it need to be controlled as well. For example, system development, when they develop it, what kind of a server, what kind of software that being used, how involved in the who involved in the system development, which company being which expertise or which company being use, okay, to develop the system. For example, okay, for in the system development, what is the terms of reference between you and the agent or the party that developed the system just now. In the system development, for example, okay, when we use the system, there will be there will be a problems, okay, throughout the years. Okay, throughout the 5 years, for example, who are responsible to make some modification, who are responsible to look after the systems. Okay, so that is supposed to be in system development and modification controls. Okay, and it should be done by authorized and in an efficient manner. Okay, we are not developing system development every semester, every year. Okay, it can the system development maybe for 10 years, and then from time to time we improve it, we modify it. Okay, so that is need to be done in efficient manner. Okay, if we keep changing the system every year or every 2 years, it will ruin the business operation. Okay, hardware and system software control. Ensure the computer hardware and application system operate as planned on an ongoing basis. Okay, so when we develop the system just now, make sure that the hardware and the system software can what can bear the business activities. Okay, we don't want that when once we operate the system, the hardware and system can't bear the full what high volume of transaction, for example, and system down, so we don't want that. And then ensure that the computer hardware and application system operate as planned and on an ongoing basis. Okay, need to be checked always. Okay, that the hardware is capable, okay, to support the transaction of the business. Okay, security and access control. Okay, computerized information system is used by authorized personnel for authorized purposes only. Okay, so not everyone can access to the to the system, to the computer, to the data, to the output, or to the processing system. Okay, every stage of the activities have a different security and access control. Okay. Okay. Operation and data control, control authorization of transaction and access to data and programs. Okay, so for the data, to access to the data and program need to be controlled. We don't want data to be changed, to be manipulated, okay, or programmed as well to be changed and manipulated. For example, bank application or programs in the banks. Okay, so if you are the one who developed the system before, right? Develop the system before you develops the program, or you involved with the program. For example, for every transaction that happen, okay, transaction of drawing, okay, transaction of drawing from the clients for the bank, you make it 5 cent or 20 cent to your account, divert to your account. 100 go to the client's withdrawal, and 20 cent come to your account. You can you imagine if just 5 cent or 20 cent from all of the transaction of Maybank per day, how many transaction is million transaction. So if just 20 cent or 5 cent or 3 cents, okay, it make a lot of money to the programmer just now. If he or she divert the money to his account as well. Okay. Okay, so just now we talk about general control. It's related to the overall computerized information system, and that's need to be done at the early stage of the audit. Okay, now we look at the application control. Okay, we look at the data capture control. So this is for the input control. Okay, this is for the input control. Basically, for application control, we have three control: input, processing, and output. Okay, look at the input first. Okay, so data capture control, ensure all transactions are recorded in the application system only once. We don't want and then still remember, if we do the system through traditional system, we just have one invoice for one transaction, right? We have one invoice for one transaction. So similar to this, okay, we need to ensure that all transactions are recorded in the application system only once, okay, for one invoice, one transactions, okay. So we concern about validity, completeness, and valuation. So this is the audit objective, okay, audit objective, okay. We concern about the validity of the transaction, the completeness of the transaction, and the valuation of the transaction. Valuation is the figure, okay, of that transactions, okay. So that is data capture. So that is why in the data capture, normally we use a barcode, okay, barcode. It's reduce the error as compared to if human who are doing the process, doing the key in process, okay, there is a tendency of error, okay, might happen. Okay, and then we have data validation control. We have limit test, range test, and field test. Okay. Okay, for example, data validation control, okay, limit test. Okay, so that is why we have okay, for example, if you go to supermarket, right, there are 25 items being bought by you, and then there is a figure down there, okay, down there. Okay, so that is a limit test. Okay, so check for the range test and field test further. Field test, for example, if you key in the invoice number, the field, for example, your password, that is a field test, okay, need to be 8 numbers, okay, numbers, alphabetical numbers and what do we call it, ABC and everything, okay, need to be combined to be eight, okay, to be eight characters, okay, eight characters, okay, so that is a field test. So if you put it seven, okay, the transaction will not the input will not success, okay. For example, when you enter the account number, okay, they are quite a long account, like long numbers, okay. So it the test on the field test for it, okay. If you wrongly key in, okay, it will not get into the system, it not processing yet, it not get into the system, okay. And then we have processing control, okay, file or volume level control total and reasonableness test. For example, processing control reasonableness test, okay. You order some things more than usual, okay. Normally the company just order 50 item, but this time 5,000 items, okay, so that is not reasonable, okay. So sometimes if when you want to process, they want you to the systems, okay, when you want to key in some things, they ask you to key in backs what's been given by them to ensure that you are not a robot, for example. That is a reasonableness test, okay. And then we have output controls, okay. Output control, not everyone in the company can print or print or access to report to the informations, okay. Okay, so just certain level of people, okay, can access to the output control, okay. Error control can be identified at any point in the system, either in input, process, and output, okay. Okay, now we look at the effects of IT on internal control. Okay, the presence of computer processing for significant accounting application affects how an entity implement its internal control. Okay, so when we rely on IT, we supposed to have a very good internal control. Okay, because why? Anyone can access it once they get the password. Okay. In particular, the control environment factors and control activities are affected by IT. Okay. Okay. And control environment factors affected by IT. Okay. Assignment of authority and responsibility. Okay. Clear line of what is this? Sorry. This one. Assignment of authority and responsibility. It's supposed to be clear who are supposed to do this and that. Okay. Every function being given a different password. Okay. You can't share your password with your friend, your colleague, or anyone. Okay. And human resource policies and practices. Okay. So the person that we are getting for the business supposed to be someone who are competent, means that know how to handle the systems, okay, how to handle the applications, okay. Okay, and then trustworthy employees, skill and knowledge persons, okay. Okay, control activities affected by IT, okay, information processing, okay, authorization of transaction, the keeping of educate documents and records, okay. Authorization of transaction, again, just rely on the passwords, okay. And then the keeping of educate document and records, okay. With the help of IT, okay, we can keep a good or educate document and records, okay. And then proper segregation of duties, initiation, authorization, recording of transaction and custody of asset supposed to be segregated. Okay. Physical control. Data or records concentrated in the IT department. Okay, as I said it to you, okay, data and record being kept in the safe room, for example, is supposed to be guarded, is supposed to be password for those who want to enter to the systems, okay, to the department or to the safe box just now, okay. Okay, this is the things that we are supposed to do when we audit the IT environments, okay. The auditor's knowledge of the entity's computer processing must include the following factors. The extent to which the computer is used in each significant accounting applications. Okay, so we should know the extent the clients use the computer in their accounting applications. Okay, the complexity of the entity's computer operations, either it is a low, medium, or advanced level just now. Okay, we need to evaluate it. The organizational structure of the computer processing activities. Okay, who are supposed to do this and that. Okay, in terms of responsibility, authorization, and segregation of duties. Okay. And then the most important as well, the availability of data for evidential matter. Okay. So we when we want to audit, we need this evidence. Okay, either in the soft copy or hard copy. Okay, so in the context of IT, we need the data in a soft copy forms. Okay, so do they have that, the company, do they keep it properly, adequately of the source document and record just now. Okay, so if there is no available data, we can't perform the audits. Okay. Okay, there are two strategy in audits. Okay, either substantive strategy or reliant strategy. Okay, so what is substantive strategy? You audit around the computer. What is that? Okay, you audit around the computer means that you are not really testing the systems. Okay, you are auditing, you are not looking at the you are not going to test on the application control just now. You will focus more on the general control. Okay, there are two educate source document and accounting report in non-machine readable form. You can perform substantive strategy, okay, when there are educate source document and accounting report in non-machine readable form, means that in a hard copy form. Okay, so this condition need to be fulfilled first. Okay, when you want to audit through the around the computer. Okay. Make sure there is adequate source document and accounting report in non-machine readable form, means that in a hard copy. Okay, the transaction can be traced from the source document to the accounting report and from the report back to the source documents. Okay, so it's like substantive strategy. It's like a traditional audit. Okay, you are relying on the hard copy, okay, or source document and and the accounting reports or accounting records. Okay, but on reliance strategy, general and application control are reviewed and tested. Okay, just now for substantive, we are just tested on the general control. But when come to the reliant, we test both general and application control. So the reliance strategy result in the auditor using computer audit assisted techniques, okay, CATs. So when we want to use a reliance strategy, normally we will use a CAAT, okay, computer audit assisted techniques. Okay, so what we have in the market right now, idea for example. Okay, so it's helps. Okay, that is one of the computer audit assisted techniques. Okay. Okay, so these are the example of computer assisted audit technique, generalized audit software, program that allow the auditor to perform tests on computer file and database. Okay. What else? Custom audit software written by auditor for specific audit tasks. Okay. So this auditor need to be very expert in the audit itself and in the IT. Okay, because they are the one who write the audit software and it for the specific audit task. Okay, and test data. We use test data to test client program. So we have as well computed audit techniques which known as test data. Okay, where we use to test data to test clients programs. Okay, we use the test data to we have the data. Okay, we have the data and test the client's program. Okay, we test the client program. So if we plug in the data, okay, and then the client program can detect error, for example, from the test data just now. Okay, so means that the client program is reliable and credible. Okay, but if the test data that we are using just now, not in the test data, there is a correct data, there is a wrong data. Okay, so if the client program can't detect the wrong data, show that the client program is not reliable. Okay, so in that case, there will be a lot of misstatement in the financial statement. Okay. We also use integrated test facilities. Enter test data along the actual. Okay, so this is a very advanced, very brave of the auditor, okay, to use it. Enter the test data along with the actual data. Okay, just now, this one, the data is belong to the auditor. The auditor create the data, okay, and test the client program. But for the integrated test facilities, we still testing the client program, but we enter the data, the test data along with the actual one. This one, no, we just take the data, the auditor data and test the client programs. Okay. And then we have parallel simulations. Okay, parallel simulation. Uh, Parallel simulations. Okay. We use our program to test the client data. Okay, we use our program to test the client data. Okay, in the this period of times, this pandemic times, okay, nak batuk pun takut. Okay. Okay, next. Use of microcomputer as an audit tool. The computer that we are using, okay, as audit tool. Normally we can use for trial balance and lead schedule preparation. We make working paper preparation and data retrieval and analysis. Okay, we sometimes use Excel, okay, to retrieve and analyze the transactions. Okay, we may use the microcomputer for audit program preparation and analytical procedure. Okay, Excel can perform that analytical procedure. And then as well, we can document documentation of internal control. Okay, we use words, for example, to document for internal control. We have the questionnaire IC, internal control questionnaire. We have a narrative of internal control. We have a flow chart. Okay, in understanding the internal control, we can document it in the microcomputer. Okay. performance of statistical sampling application. Okay, for some computer like mine, for example, I have SPSS, for example, to test for the statistical sampling. Okay, so that's it for the effects of information technology on the audit function. Okay, any question? And this topic is very important for your final exam. Any question? Hello? Okay, thank you, Kin Fai. Wong Kin Fai. Okay, thank you, Lee Chong Yu. Okay, for the response. So if there is no questions, okay, so thank you, Chen Ki for the response. So if no questions, I will go to the attendance. Okay.